Have you ever heard of a heist so perfectly planned, so audacious, it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie? Well, today we're diving into the story of the 2009 Graff Diamonds robbery, the largest jewelry heist in British history. It's a tale of high fashion, incredible disguises, and a single, tiny mistake that brought the whole operation crashing down. Picture this: August 6, 2009. A hot summer day in London. Two men, impeccably dressed in sharp, grey suits, with crisp white shirts and ties, walk into the prestigious Graff Diamonds boutique on New Bond Street. This isn't just any jewelry store. This is where the ultra-wealthy come to buy their million-pound treasures. The men look confident, like they belong there. But something is off. One of the store's security guards later said he had a strange feeling about them. They moved with a purpose that felt out of place. The men, who appeared to be in their late 40s or early 50s, had a distinct look. Their skin seemed unusually pale and stretched, almost like a mask. And that's because it was. They weren't just wearing suits, they were wearing professional-grade liquid latex prosthetics. Completely transforming their faces, they had changed their skin tones, hair colors, and even their hairlines. This wasn't an amateur job. This was the work of professionals who had spent weeks, if not months, preparing. They entered the store just before closing time, around 4:40 p.m. The boutique was relatively quiet. Once inside, the polite facade dropped. They pulled out two handguns. The atmosphere instantly shifted from one of luxury to one of terror. "This is a robbery," one of them announced, his voice calm but firm. They ordered a female staff member to the ground. She was so terrified that she couldn't move. One of the robbers grabbed her, pointed a gun at her head, and forced her to open the display cabinets. These weren't smash-and-grab thieves. They knew exactly what they were looking for. They systematically emptied the cabinets, stuffing 43 priceless items into a bag. We're talking about rings, bracelets, necklaces, and a pair of earrings, all adorned with enormous, flawless diamonds. One of the stolen pieces was a magnificent necklace with over 270 carats of diamonds, worth millions all on its own. The total value of the stolen goods: a staggering £40 million. That's about $65 million at the time. To this day, it remains the biggest jewelry heist in British history. The entire robbery took less than 2 minutes. It was a masterclass in efficiency and intimidation. As they prepared to leave, one of the robbers fired a warning shot into the floor. The sound echoed through the luxurious boutique, a final act of dominance before they vanished. They walked out of the store, blending back into the bustling London streets. Outside, the getaway plan kicked into gear. They jumped into a blue BMW parked nearby. But this was just the first step in a carefully choreographed escape. They drove a few blocks, then switched to a silver Mercedes. A few more blocks, another switch, this time to a black Ford B-Max. And for the final leg, they hopped onto a motorbike. It was a classic, movie-style getaway designed to confuse and misdirect the police. As they fled, they fired another shot, this time at a taxi driver who tried to block their path. Luckily, no one was hurt. The police, part of the elite flying squad, were on the scene within minutes. But the robbers were gone. All that was left was a terrified staff, a bullet hole in the floor, and empty display cases. The investigation began immediately, and it felt like they were chasing ghosts. The disguises were so good that witness descriptions were practically useless. The CCTV footage showed two well-dressed men, but their faces were completely artificial. Who were they? The investigators turned to the makeup artist who had unwittingly helped create the disguises. The artist, from a studio in Covent Garden, remembered the men. One of them, he said, claimed he needed the disguise for a music video. He'd even paid in cash. The artist worked with police to create sketches of the man's real face from memory, but it was still a long shot. The robbers had been so careful, so meticulous. They had planned every detail, from the disguises to the multi-vehicle getaway. They must have felt invincible, like they had pulled off the perfect crime. And for a moment, it seemed like they had. The police had very few leads. The jewelry had vanished, likely destined to be broken up and sold on the black market, never to be seen in its original form again. But then came the breakthrough. The kind of simple, careless mistake that criminals in movies always seem to make. In their rush to switch cars during the getaway, one of the robbers had left something behind in the abandoned blue BMW. A mobile phone. A simple, pay-as-you-go phone, wedged between the seats. For the police, this was the golden ticket. They immediately began analyzing the phone's data. And on it, they found everything. They discovered text messages and call logs that detailed the entire plot. The phone acted as a digital roadmap, revealing the identities of the robbers and their accomplices. It led them straight to the mastermind, a man named Amin Kassé. He was one of the two men who had walked into Graff Diamonds that day. The phone data didn't just identify Kassé, it unraveled the entire network. Police traced his calls to the other robber, Craig Calderwood, and a whole web of lookouts, drivers, and handlers who had assisted in the crime. It was a domino effect. One by one, the members of the gang were identified and arrested. The trial was sensational. The court heard how Kassé had meticulously planned the heist, recruiting a team of specialists for each part of the operation. He was the one who went to the makeup artist. He was the one who orchestrated the getaway. He was the brains behind the whole thing. In the end, Amin Kassé was found guilty and sentenced to 23 years in prison. His accomplices also received lengthy sentences. But what about the jewelry? The £40 million worth of diamonds and gems? To this day, not a single piece has ever been recovered. It is believed they were smuggled out of the country and sold off within days of the robbery. The priceless artifacts are gone forever, broken down and scattered across the globe. So, what can we learn from this? It is a story that shows how even the most brilliant plans can be undone by the smallest oversight. These men spent months plotting, using Hollywood-level disguises and a complex getaway strategy, only to be brought down by a 10-pound burner phone left on a car seat. It's a powerful reminder that in the end, crime rarely pays, and justice often finds a way, sometimes in the most unexpected places. The Graff Diamonds heist will forever be remembered not just for its audacity and scale, but for the tiny mistake that solved it all. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true crime stories. Let me know in the comments what you think about this heist. Could they have gotten away with it? See you in the next video.